Hello, hello. May God bless you and may prosper you this day. My name is Rick and I am the cryptocurrency Watchman. Okay. We had a real good day on one of the coins, and the other coins just kind of fizzled out. We made a little money on Lisk, and the other ones just didn't want to meet that mark. Two of them began to drop, and two of them hit around 4% and then started dropping a little bit. That's the volatility of these markets. If you go back and look at my videos, I've got I'm hitting around 75, 80%, success rate of of my coin picks. But, sometimes you just have those days, and, really there wasn't a whole lot of activity. Even though a lot of the coins were green, there wasn't a whole lot of movement on a lot of the coins, that where you could really make a lot of money, where you had a lot of choices. So let's get started. The first one we're going to look at was the one that we made the most money on, and that was Golem coin, GNT, and we hit, depending upon where you got in and got out, the potential of the profit yesterday was 35%. So it was a nice little gain yesterday. Definitely some money, made on this one. We might be looking at a little bit of a retrace here. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't get in right now, but it could wind up going up again. I would just keep an eye on it and look for confirmation on this one. Definitely want to take a look at it. It's not one of my picks for the day, but definitely something to keep an eye on because it could continue that rise up. However, it does seem to be that some of the coins are starting to turn red, and we could see another red day this afternoon or tomorrow. So that's something we always have to keep in mind, guys, is that regardless of what coin you're in, sometimes when the platforms start to turn red, when they all begin to turn red, it's the best thing to do is just either ride it out, wait for it to go back up, or just jump out and wait, one or the other. So, okay, let's move on. Okay, made safe is the next one that we're going to take a look at. We hit about the 4% mark on this one. We were about 1.137 Satoshis, somewhere in here. We didn't quite hit the 5% mark. It was roughly about 4%. We might see a little more out of this one, but it really looks like it's starting to consolidate, maybe even going over and starting to drop a little bit. So yeah, I wouldn't, if you're stuck in this one, I would stay in for now, just kind of ride it out because it will go back up, but, not a whole lot of movement in this one yesterday. Okay, burst was the next one. We were right about the 1330 mark, somewhere in here. Yesterday when we were looking at it, we were seeing some pretty decent movement out of it. It looked like there's a possibility that it could have continued up. I told you to keep an eye on your to look for your confirmation. We didn't have a buy sign at the time, but there was a possibility that it could have gone up, and sure enough, it just tanked out, and of course it's continuing to drop. Might see a little bit of a retrace here, but not one of my picks for today, so I would just leave it alone for now. Okay, then we looked at Stellar. We thought that there might have been an opportunity for some profits yesterday on this one. We were about 438. We did get a nice jump. I mean, we hit about 4%. We didn't get the 5%. So, if you wrote it up and you saw the change, you saw the signs and you jumped out, you could have made a little money off of this one yesterday. But, for me, I always look for at least the 5%. I like to see at least 5% on these. So, we did hit the 5% mark, a little bit to be made, but as you can see, it's just kind of working down, maybe if you hit it on the retrace or whatever. But yeah, I would just leave it alone. Didn't show us much yesterday. Okay, the next one was NAVCOIN. We were roughly about the 1330 mark. We were at 37,295 Satoshis. So, and I told you to keep an eye on it. We didn't have a buy sign at the time, but because of this jump, sometimes it'll consolidate and then we'll see it continue to rise up. And sometimes it drops, and sure enough, it dropped. So didn't see anything out of NAVCOIN yesterday either. Okay, Lisk. We were about 151,000 Satoshis yesterday. Right about here. And you can see we're still going up. So yeah, some profits to be made in Lisk. I'm in Lisk. I'm actually riding this one up. I think that we could easily see we've already reached the 5% mark on this one. I think that we could easily see another 5% out of this, maybe even more out of this one. It is definitely on an upward trend. We can see right here. I put the Fibonacci graph up for you, because I know that I don't show this too much, and I do use Fibonacci at times for certain things, and this is one of those times. Because of the jump, we saw a nice trend going, all the way from way back. It's been on a steady climb, but when it makes a jump like this, and I'm kind of looking to stay in or out, I'll throw my Fibonacci on there and kind of see where it's hitting. And you can see that it's hitting this mark. It's not breaking this plane right here, which is telling me that it's going to continue going up. Now, if it breaks this right here, then we're definitely going to see some higher numbers right here. I could also draw another just real quick. Do this real quick. I could draw a line right here just to kind of keep an eye on it. To see if it's going to continue that particular line, because you can see it's just testing that line. We tested here, we're here, and hopefully we're just going to continue to see it climb, because it came down, it tested here, looks like it just tested here, and you can see it's still going up. So yeah, I think we're going to see some nice numbers out of Lisk. Okay, my next pick for the day is STEEM. We've seen a nice upward, just a gradual upward trend with STEEM. Nice little jump here. We're still moving up, but however, we are starting to retrace a little bit, and you can see I have this is my trend line here, and you can see where it tested here. We started from our run here. It tested here, and that's where I placed it. It looks like it wanted to test it right here. It didn't quite touch. It's continuing up, and I put the Fibonacci in there to see, because we see where it hit here. It actually hit a little bit below, so we tested here, all across here. If it had come down to here, if it had come to here and gone past it, then yeah, leave it alone. But it looks like it's not only testing the trend line, but it's also testing the Fibonacci line. When it tested down here, we were still on the trend line also. So we're using two tools to determine where we're at on this one. So it didn't go past the trend line, and it hit right on the Fibonacci retracement line. And so yeah, looks like we might still be in an upward trend right now, just a little bit of a retrace, but I think we're going to continue to see numbers out of this. Now, if it drops past this trend line and past this line here, it's probably going to start dropping at that point. We're not going to see any more numbers out of that. However, I would just look for your confirmation, maybe give it a little more time, and then jump in, because it looks like we could see some numbers out of this one. Okay, the next one is Oxcoin ZRX. We saw a nice little jump here, and then a retrace, but we could be on a nice upward trend. Like I said before, when you see these big jumps here, we saw the consolidation, we saw the Bollinger Bands coming together, and now they're spreading apart. It got oversold once it crosses this Bollinger Band right here. That's an indication of it being oversold at this point. So we know it's going to drop, and now it's fallen inside the Bollinger Bands again, and we we could see some more numbers out of this. I would give it a little more time, see if we get a couple more candles out of this. Maybe wait till we get at least one more candle inside the Bollinger Band, and if we see green on that one, that could be an indication of a buy sign. So keep an eye on it. Could be some money to be made out of this one. This one's kind of iffy. I have no idea how much, but look for at least 5%. Okay, the next one is LITECOIN. I actually sent out an email alert yesterday on LITECOIN. I believe LITECOIN is actually going to go much higher than what it is now. It's very rare. It's very rare that I put high numbers out there for certain coins. Every now and then I do recommend a long-term hold. Of course, Digibyte being one of them. You've heard me say that many times, regardless of what it's doing now. If you're in Digibyte, stay in Digibyte. LITECOIN, I believe, we saw, looking at the long term, somebody shot me an email yesterday, a good friend of mine, and he does a lot of chart reading into long-term holds. That's his thing. He doesn't do a lot of the everyday trading. He goes for the long-term holds, and he brought my attention to LITECOIN, and so I checked it out, and sure enough, he's absolutely right. We saw a double bottom on LITECOIN, and LITECOIN, from what he showed and from what I'm seeing too, is going to be around $150. Roughly, it's just under $80 right now. It's between like 75, $80. Last night I think it hit up to 80. So I sent an email out, telling everybody, hey, LITECOIN's going to $150, and it is, regardless of what you're seeing right now. We saw a little bit of a retrace last night, but LITECOIN is going to $150. I can show you right now, just real quick. We see the trend line going up. You can see where it we had a breakthrough here, and so we knew that that a change was coming, and sure enough, it broke through again. But now we worked another trend line down through here, and it's broken through again, and it's on its way up, and it looks like it's getting ready to break through that original trend line. And so I believe we're going to see some more numbers out of this one, even today. But on the long term, it is going to be a $150 coin. Okay, the next coin is NXT. We've seen some nice. It's still on an upward trend. We've seen some retraces. Some quick money to be made, and some of these. I say quick. I mean, we're looking at a good 5%, maybe a little more here. Same thing here. Same thing here. If we look over on the chart here, you can see I have these trend lines drawn right here. It's just following this channel all the way up. It came down, retested the line, almost tested it up, came down, tested it, moving back up. So yeah, it's following this channel, and you can see that it's going up again. So we could be looking at a confirmation right here. You may want to think about taking a position for maybe 5% or something like that. Keep an eye on it. Watch the channel. If it once it tests this line, if it does not break this line, then that'd be the time to sell. So yeah, NXT. Okay, the last one I wanted to show you was NEOS coin. NEOS has very, very, very little volume, so you want to be very careful of this one. However, I think it's something that needs to be looked at. Just kind of keep an eye on this one. NEOS has actually made us a lot of money in the past. You can see that we're on it is on an upward trend. We tested the line here, and it looks like it's continuing to go up. So I wouldn't get in yet. Give it some time. Keep an eye on it. See what it does. But it could be something. Watch your volume. Could be something to invest in here soon. Okay, guys, that's it from me today. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.